Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Ooh, let me try to get these cameras together. Ooh, let's get ready for this Sunday makeup walk, y'all. I'm casual. I'm casual every day, right? Get your mats if you want to come on. It's the makeup day. It's the makeup day. Remember? Yes, indeed, I'm walking. One day last week. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Whenever I look at my YouTube videos, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Ha! Here we are. Thank you for the company. Get your mats if you want to. This is a makeup day. Get your weights. Get on the floor. Yes, I came down early. Yeah, I sure did. I sure did. I came down early to set everything up, and I'm still jumping off the treadmill. All right now for the early. Somebody say amen for the early. Oh, all right. Now we got it. Oh, this is not a good color to have, but I get disco lights all the time, and I'm not a cinematographer or nothing like that. So what it is what it am. And what it am is what it is. So yeah, I got that book. The Witness War Red. I gotta see it. I was asking the universe. I must have been asking the universe. What is this? Not only with attacking the voting rights Act, you want to take it from us. But when you look at it, as us, I mean African Americans, thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through, y'all. I don't know who's there, but if you ain't there, I can understand. It's Sunday. It's a makeup day. I just didn't understand. And from when I was a little girl, I was one of those Y kids that got slapped in the mouth and just like stopped you from saying it, where you would always keep the Y inside, inside yourself. You're like, well, you know what? And I still do it now. But I'm asked and I'm seeing I'm getting answered. Ooh, don't start me to talk one. So I couldn't understand really this great push by, I have to say, these white men to take away the vote. A lot of restrictions are coming through. And I couldn't understand. I thought it was, to stop, the African American from doing anything to better themselves and to bring back those strict Jim Crow black code laws that's in the American history. So I guess I was asking myself, why is it? And then I remember all through the campaign, all through 45's reign of terror, I remember seeing, especially that preacher woman with the low-cut dresses and the short, tight dresses, and she was the minister, of religion and stuff like that. And I didn't understand it. And I know, a lot of the first ladies are home frowns. The educated ones just came through, starting with Michelle Obama. The other ones were educated, but to my understanding, I could be wrong. I'm not going to go look it up. But from what I've read, when they were president, the Bushes and stuff. They were basically housefrau. I think Laura was a teacher. But basically housefraus. Not educators, not determined, proud women. Just for the Saturday, they went to school to learn tricks to make them look good on the arms of a man. And Jackie O, she was just supposed to look good on the arms of a man, especially a man in politics and stuff like that. That was what they were raised for. And then Michelle Obama comes. 5 minutes already, y'all. Michelle Obama comes, and she's a lawyer. And she's an educated woman. And she is good for her husband, but she's good for her husband in strength. Not in anyway. I couldn't understand it. And I guess that little why that they beat inside me, and I asked myself, and the universe answers. When I was at the library, it was easy. I would ask why, and I would literally come across a book. And I would find my answer. So this time, our eyes inside was so much that I came across Dr. Phil's show, and Dr. Phil's show led me to the witness war read about the FDLS folks. That's a break off from the Mormons, that big church. And I was like, wow. The vote is to put women back in their place. This voting restriction stuff is for women too. It's to knock the one out their sales. And that money they talk about from the Koch brothers and stuff from the Midwest, this is their values. Women are just objects to be had, what is that, dime a dozen. Because they're going to have a dozen wives. So I'm like, you are judging me by that. That has never been, as African Americans, that has never been our life. You didn't allow us to have husbands. You didn't allow us. You allow us to have a man to breed, and once he bred, you sold him. That's our ancestors' history. So they don't know that part. A lot of times after slavery, they were afraid to fall in love with a man because if you fall in love with a man, they would take him and slave him. But then after Emancipation Proclamation, if you fell in love with a man, they would kill him if he had land. They'd throw him in jail. They would take him and string him up and tar him, cut off his genitals. So you didn't get that attachment to a man. Because for fear that they would come and take him and kill him. So we don't know about that stuff that y'all, one man and 20 wives, and y'all kill our husbands. If we had one, y'all took them. If we got another, you took that one too. So we have to be content with having a child. And we have not grown that yet. It is what it is. So we're not the same. So I'm not understanding that how I'm not like your women. We're not like your women. Our background and history coming from is not like your women. We're trying to get there now. That's why we're being killed left and right. We're trying to do it now. Which I don't agree with. But anyway, we're not like that. So I'm saying to myself, maybe it's to stop us as African American women because we're not that subservient woman that's going to live in the house. So I'm reading that book, When This War Read, and she's talking about her childhood. Her father was not into the FDL thing, but nasty. Oh, I can get a second young wife. And they said, yeah, you join our group, you can get a second young wife. So he joined the group. He's also this physicist, engineer, stuff like that, so he had money. He was giving big money to the FDSL. And prostitution, giving a lot of money. And so he was able to get the second wife. But the first wife who was married to him, that didn't know, nothing about that, that woman, she found herself in this religion and him able to get a woman, a young girl, who came from a family of 100. Her mother was the 20th wife. So she got 100 siblings. So the woman, the witness, wore red. Somebody send me something. Okay. Alright. Anyway, see, I have to look over my glasses. I hate when I do that on video. I look at myself, I was like, you're old. And I say, yes, I am. Anyway, like, comment, share. Like, comment, share. So, the witness wore red. She came from a husband that, I don't know, 20 wives, but they wound up having 100 kids. And so she was used to that lifestyle. So when she got with this man, the witness wore red's father, who had just gotten to the FDLs just so he can get a second wife. And the wife said, okay, you can have a second wife, but keep your whore and the bastard kids in the basement. Now, I was told that kind of attitude don't get you to heaven, but they do there. So the mother, the young side chick, concubine, was moved in the basement. And over the years, she produced 7 kids, with all in the basement. And she described that there was so little room, but every time they would see the mother's stomach start sticking out, they would start reshuffling their space. Now, they thought the mother was great because she understood the ways. So the mother would go up to the first wife. You have to be with the first wife. And the first wife would berate her, you whore, you slut, you try to take my husband. And she would sit there dutifully, because she's long-suffering, and she's following the rules that something about Abraham having a lot of wives and they can have a lot of wives. And she was just taking her husband, the witness wore red's mother, husband, when she was the second wife, loved her, the daughter, because she could take the abuse of his wife and stay in silent and still open her legs for him. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Wow. So this is the level that they judge African American women on. No, I'm not doing that shit. Okay? My mother would rise about her grave and come and start sprinkling on all of us. We did something like that. But they're born into it, I understand that. But this is what African American women are feeling bad about, not having a man. Because in this society, they look at women as a dime a dozen. And because the situation, We didn't do it, but we came through in strength. Not so willing to jump down our knees and zip down the men's pants. Oh, we halfway through, y'all. With y'all answering up. By the time I finish this book, so many questions. So I had in my head, I didn't let them out. But as I'm reading this book, I'm like, oh, that's what. Yeah, now I've done. Hey, let's get some water. I got nobody here but me. But it's my makeup day. At least I have somebody to talk to. Me. And YouTube and Facebook, please like, comment, share, like, comment, share. Let's get back to it. I just remember, you know what it was like? When I was a child, all the models, all the top fashion models, had flat chests and no asses. They were straight up and down, like a man. I knew that we wouldn't be those type of models because just by nature, a lot of us aren't born. There's some born like that, but a lot of us aren't born without childbearing hips. Then I couldn't understand that either. Why are they calling sexy women that have the body of men? I couldn't understand it. Why? Remember, I wouldn't ask nobody because my wives will slap right in my mouth along with my teeth, honey. So after a while, you just say, you want to say why? When they say something, you want to say why? You say, That means keep the why in. When it did slip out, it never worked good for me. When that why slipped out, anyway. So I couldn't understand. Well, I guess maybe I'm thinking in my mind as a young adult, maybe it's just not meant for us because we didn't have, a lot of us didn't look like that. And then later on, I started seeing all these male designers. Just a lot of from the Fashion Week and different things like that. And I started working in the garment district. And all the designers, popular designers that were hitting, were men. So, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Like I feel about the Louis Vuittons. They're not built, a man made it for a man's foot. If a man's foot was shaped like a woman. So I don't see those shoes being comfortable in any form of fashion, just like the bra. Anyway. So I said to myself, why are we held to beauty if you look like a man? If your body is like a man, you have no tits, you have no ass, you have no hips. And, you know, the majority of us, as women African Americans, we're going to have one out of the three. So we were eliminated out that whole modeling thing. And when I was a child, I don't know, I had to be a young adult when Naomi or Beverly came through. And again, they had to have bodies like men. No chest, no ass, no hips. So I kept asking myself why. And then one day I was listening. I think, to this podcast. And the podcaster said, well, you know why models, those skinny models, look like that. And I was like, no, because they had to look like men. Men designers were designing clothing for men. Putting them on women, putting on women's clothes, but they would love to see those women's clothes on men, but they couldn't do it. So they had to get women that look like men to put the clothes on them. They couldn't stand when us big busted, big asses, big headed women started trying to fit to their clothes. That's not who they made it for. In their idea and design, their models was a man. They were gay. In their head, they were seeing a man. Dressing a man in lace. Dressing a man with all this stuff. They didn't see a woman. So, I said, oh, look how, I was like, it took so long for me to finally get that answer. But I didn't stop asking because I didn't understand. But now I know. You have models that are shaped like men because men are designing these clothes for other men. But the society norms says no. Now they are. I love to see men and lace and different things like that because that's what the designers have always wanted to put them in. When they see that model that they're making that clothes for in their head, it is not a woman. It is a man. And that's why you have these models that look like men. My grandmother, she was a seamstress. And they loved her because she did the seams, she did all that stuff, but she designed, she did it for women. For women. Always in her mind, women. So, I'm understanding, and the more I see it, I am so proud of this matter's dark skin and the history. And the history. I'm so proud of us. Because no, we don't fit into your norms. Your fantasy, we didn't fit the gay designer's fantasy. That's why we were never included in there. And why the blondes are in, that's another thing. Oh, let me tell you that real fast before this walk is almost over. So quickly on makeup day. In the book, okay, I followed the FDSL. Lifetime had the show about them getting the girls out and stuff like that. And then I would go and get books and read on it because, and still my answers, I didn't get the answers, I couldn't understand it. It wasn't until 45 and the rate of terror we're going through and their attacks that you have to look at it. And they always ran the boys out. And I couldn't understand that. When the boys hit a certain age, they were kicked out the mother's house. I thought in my head, I was like, well, the boy would want to protect the mother and stuff like that, or want her to wake up. And they didn't say specifically why the boys were ran off. And in my head, because of my history, I'm thinking incest. But I tell myself, nope, that's not why. That's your issue. That has nothing to do with them. But now I'm reading this book. And the mean, first wife has sons. And she so hates the second wife and the second wife's kids that literally the boys can go through the second wife's young daughters. You got to make sure before they get their period. And screw them. That's the mother's revenge. That's the first wife revenge. So a lot of these girls have already lost their virginity before they get to these old men. And they get rid of the boys before they start making the babies with their half-sisters. Because the first wife is so angry. So no, first wife, second wife, they don't live all together with that man while he run over the place screwing everybody. But let's get back to this. What I'm seeing it for is now I understand that's the drive of these men, especially these rich Koch brothers, these rich Middle Western millionaires. That's what they were. Women, that's that whole religious thing, that whole Mormon stuff over there. Women are toilet paper to white men's asses. And the best place to put them back in the toilet aisle is to take away the vote from them. Especially them black bitches. I said to myself, so it is all about sex. I had an aunt, I remember my mother saying it, I've heard it in my ear. Anything that men do is motivated by sex first, I say greed second because they want. You say money, I say greed, it's the same thing. But the first thing they're motivated by is sex. That's why 45 had all those blondes with the big titties. Even at all his meetings. And even he had Ivana. He used to bring her there. With the old crones. With the old crones. So they could rule over her because they're motivated by sex. They didn't see nothing that they were signing. They didn't see it. All they thought about in their mind is screwing. In the witness were read, this 87-year-old man who can hardly breathe. His main goal is still fucking. He can't feed himself. He can't dress himself. He can't medicate himself. But he wants young wives, so he can fuck them. And I can't wait to get to that part, and I hope she's on it, because she did say originally before, when they got married, this 87-year-old man, on their marriage night, she had to wash him and clean him and give him oxygen and feed him. And that first night he gave her a kiss and said that's enough. So I can't wait to get into the rest of it. But going back to that point, that's what they used to say. Everything about men is motivated by sex. The act and the fact that they want to take the vote away, not only from African American, but from women. Lets me know this is all sexual. And women, y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to take more office. Y'all need to go in there and take this stuff at hand because we're not motivated by sex. But men are. They say constant, every day, anything they do, even attacking us, is sex-based. Hey! So y'all may want to turn me down until I finish this book because I've been wondering why. So I'm finding out that this Abraham guy had all these, in the book, in the Bible, had all these wives. And that's why they can have wives. But they want that book to be the Constitution. Don't you get it? Didn't 45 get everybody shot with rubber bullets and tear gas so he can go get the Bible and hold it up for them and saying, Abraham, I'm going to bring you all your wives. Men, you'll be able to have as many wives as you want. And the Republican women cheered. And the Republican women cheered. Young people live for as long as you can because you will learn stuff that you never thought you would. All your questions asked in your head will be answered. Thank God. Goodness, not God. How about energy? Think energy in the superior being for the internet or just us. Love you, YouTube. Thanks for being with me on the makeup day. See you tomorrow, Monday.